How goes it? I'm Logan. Have you ever repelled someone from you by just talking about what you love? I know I have, and it's about to happen again. Viral video games are just the way of life. They're all gonna be linked to virginity at some point. They're like leprosy. With the internet being as widespread as it is today, it's become a lot easier to convince someone to play Mario Kart Tour. It's become a lot easier for independent developers to get word of their game out. These games became as popular as they did thanks to the internet. Without the internet, you wouldn't know Happy Wheels exists. This is the first game that I remember going viral. I've never played this game much. I just watch middle-aged men with dyed hair scream at the sight of a drop of blood and most likely a noise complaint. You select a character and set off on whatever level you choose. There's a bunch of obstacles that can... I hate Friday Night Funkin'. I don't know, I've never really been into rhythm games. For Christ's sakes, I failed the tutorial. Now there is a huge community that makes mods for this game. Maybe I can give some of those a go. Oh god, that bear! Five Nights at Freddy's is a game that I just love to put down after 10 minutes. This is a great example of a game that does the bare minimum in terms of gameplay. You just point and click to keep these Chuck E. Cheese robot things from chewing on your skull. But this is one of my favorite franchises of all time. I used to go through all 5 nights in one sitting. 7 if you count this garbage. These animatronics do get a bit quirky at night. Freddy, the main one, Bonnie, the purple bunny, Chica, a chicken with a questionable diet, and Foxy, oh god, Foxy. My only problem with this series is how boring it really is. Like I said, you just point and click. There's really nothing else to it. But it's the sweet lore of the series that just keeps me coming back. The developer Scott Cawthon also made a lot more. Apparently dead children possess these things. So that's why these things get all wild at night. But not as wild as something like Doki Doki Literature Club. We open up the game and we're greeted to... This is a visual novel dating simulator, and you talk to these girls. Can you tell I'm lonely? There's 4 to choose from. Sayori, Yuri, Natsuki, and Monica. Oh god, who do I choose? Who do I choose? Well, that made my decision 25% easier. This is one of my favorite horror games ever. The horror bit of the game doesn't sneak its way in until... But for someone to get the most out of this game, they would need a completely blind playthrough. But that's kind of impossible now. This game has been played to near death by many. There's a bunch of videos online of... Minecraft is my favorite game of all time. There's no rules or limitations here. You can build anything you want, it's all up to your imagination. It's really a sandbox game. I've been playing this one quite a bit recently, and I can tell you, it's good. It might not be the kind of thing for others, but for me personally, I love it. I can see why this game has sold so much and why some just don't see the appeal in it. This game is open world, and by open world, I mean open world. You don't follow a linear path like a lot of other games, but there's no denying that it is a good game. You can choose from either survival mode, where there's enemies that come out at night, and creative mode. I built Luigi's Mansion. There's adventure mode, which I'm not really sure why anyone would even think of playing in this. Can't do anything. I don't like Fortnite. That's coming from the perspective of someone who's spent around 100 hours with this thing. I don't know, shooters just aren't for me. I don't have the reaction time for this. I can definitely see why this game blew up like it did. There's just always something happening. That's the thing with Battle Royale games like this. You never know when someone's gonna pop out of a corner or something. I've played this game for over 100 hours, and I can tell you, it's a quality game. Not my thing, but I definitely see the appeal in it. I'm not sure why it gets vomited on like it does. Now, Baldi's Basics, I'm not sure how that doesn't. I don't know, this just feels all over the place. It's also one of those games that look like one thing, but it's really another. But this game didn't even try to hide it. One wrong question and, oh no, Mr. Bald Thing is pissed. You mean to tell me there was a whole Kickstarter for this thing? Now, I will give it this. It's actually somewhat okay. It's just really repetitive. There's nothing to it other than collect notebooks and watch Baldi do whatever this is. I'm talking about Roblox. So Roblox itself isn't really a game, rather a platform for users to make their own games, and there's so many to choose from. I've had my fair share of fun with this thing quite a bit with friends, most of which consist of me being an ass. But just the idea that anyone can create pretty much anything and having them be playable by anyone anywhere? Oh my god. Hello Neighbor shows just how much of a miracle it is that I'm lonely. I'd rather not be next to this thing. So the neighbor is obviously schizophrenic. You can't just waltz into his house. He took extra precautions. I'm not entirely sure what the end goal is, but it will take a while. There's stuff scattered all around his property, and you gotta use those to progress through his house. Among Us. What just came out of my mouth? You play as a crewmate on a spaceship, and your goal is to complete all of your tasks. But one person on here is an imposter. It's the imposter's goal to kill everyone on the ship without being caught. I had a lot of fun with this while it was in its peak around the nightmare of 2020, but now the game is just so boring and repetitive. It was rare that I ever got to be the imposter, and when I got to, I sucked at it. You can almost always tell how a game is going to end. Genshin Impact is an action-adventure RPG where you play as a traveler from another world. You arrive in the land of Teyvat after you're attacked by whatever this is, and your twin is captured. There are a lot of characters you can play as, each with their own fighting style, abilities, and elemental powers. I'm not sure why this game gets the hate that it does. Most of the people that hate it don't even know how it works or what it really is. Some see this as a Breath of the Wild clone, and I do somewhat agree. It obviously takes inspiration with some gameplay mechanics and the art style, but why are you taking my word for it? It's not like I know what it's like to be a clone. The Hoyoverse made this their own thing. I don't mind sitting down for a few hours and playing this. I've had immeasurable amounts of fun with this. Sure, I don't open it often, but when I do, I'm pretty much stuck. No viral game is bad. It's obvious that there's a lot of care put into these. I can see that they're all fun in their own right. Not all of these are my kind of thing, though. It's fine to like and dislike a game, but it's obvious when you're hating it just because it's big. A lot of these games are actually fun and well made. Again, some are not my thing, but I definitely see the appeal in some. After spending some time with these, I think it's time for me to find a new disease to catch. I like this one.